Hi guys, Thomas here, your real estate resource in Toronto, and today I want to dive into the stat for the month of March. So you've probably seen the headlines. So for example, in the Toronto Star, April's home sales down 41% from last year, 27 since March. And while this is true, and while the market is shifting and pivoting, and sales are going down, the sales price is going down, I want to dig past the headlines and dive into the number to give you a broader perspective of what's happening in today's market and what it means for you if you need to make a decision in real estate in the next months. So in terms of the number of transactions, we're looking at 8,000 transactions, which is down 41%. But as we can see on this graph here, so the number of transactions in orange is this year, last year 2021 in blue, 2020 beginning of COVID in green, and gray 19. And gray will be the last normal year. As you can see, in 2020 it was out of the norm because of the confinement. It was the first confinement. The number dropped dramatically. And the year after, the number of sales catch up and we were way above average, but in the other direction. As you can see, from January to June, it was way above a normal year. And from last year, it's down 41%, which is a lot, but this is down from an abnormal year. Versus last month, it's down from 26%. And as you can see, even last month was extremely busy. So kind of to put a little bit of perspective, at this number 8,000, we're very close to 9,000 of 2019. So still less sales than the normal months of March, but not as dramatic as the headline might suggest. In terms of pricing though, if we look year over year, we're looking at appreciation of 15%. So you might say everything is good, but when we look at seasonally adjusted, we're looking at 6.4% versus last month. And I think this is really the one we should focus on because when the market is shifting, it's really versus the previous months that we can see the effect. And as you can see from the peak of February, we can see like a slow decline. But what we also see is that the price appreciation was way higher from December to March versus like a normal year where it does increase year over year, but not as dramatically. So what we're seeing is really the market slowing down, the market shifting. We're also seeing that in the months of inventory. So we're looking at 1.64 months of inventory. A balanced market is around like 4 to 6 months. And to give you some perspective, 1.6 months is the highest month of inventory since April this year. And as you can see here, like for example, in December, 0.5 months of inventory means that all the new listings are going to sell on average within 2 weeks, half a month. And this is not sustainable. This is not healthy. I've been very vocal about it. And even in terms of price appreciation. So if we look at the price appreciation at the peak, we were looking at 32% price appreciation year over year. To give you some perspective, the average of the past 10 years is around like 14%. So if you're at like 32%, you're almost twice as much as the average of the past 10 years. So what that means is that the price we have been experiencing in the past couple of months is the price from the future. If we're looking at the price correction, here, so we are on average at 1.254, 1.2 million, and versus last month at 1.3, it's down, but it's still higher than in January. So the correction we're seeing here is basically the price of January 2022. So price going up 30%, it was not sustainable, it was not going forever. And now we are seeing like the beginning of a decline. Now I want to look at different asset class because the market is not the same depending of your neighborhood, depending of the asset class you're looking at. So if you're looking at a specific neighborhood, let me know, I'll be happy to jump on a call with you. So first of all, the average price for detached is at 1.6 million, semi-detached close to 1.26. Townhouse close to 1 million, and condo 790. And in terms of appreciation, you can see it goes from 14% for condo to 17.5% for detached. But depending if you're looking at the 416 or the 905, the price are not behaving in the same way. And this is year over year. So we are seeing like the price declining for detached sharper than for semi and condo. You can see the condo asset class is actually holding its ground in terms of price. And one of the reasons is, as you can see here, the gap between condo and detached really increased over time since March 2020. The gap here had never been higher from like March 2020. And there is a couple of reasons that explain that. First of all the first-time buyers that come into the city, come into Ontario, they're not that sensitive to the market. If the money is cheap or if the money is more expensive, the interest rate, they're still going to make a decision based on the personal need more than the interest rate. And today, if you can afford a home, like this is the price range that they're looking at, and they're not as sensitive to the interest rate. Versus detached home, the people that buy 1.7, 1.8 detached home, they probably have a 1.5, 1.6 home or whatever home they have, but they don't need a bigger home. They don't need a new home. So they are going to make their decision based off if they feel the timing is right and based on if they can get like cheaper money available. So when we're seeing like interest rate rise, we expect the price to go down faster in the detached segment versus the condo. Another factor is that with COVID, the price of condo went down. In some pocket downtown, we were looking at an 8% price decrease at the peak of the confinement and the COVID. Restaurant, bar were closed, offices were closed, so people decided to go outside of the city and buy detached home. Now that offices are reopening and we're going back to normal, we're seeing a lot of people coming back to the more dense urban area, downtown Toronto. And that's one of the reasons why detached is going down. And actually, the 905 region outside of Toronto is the price are decreasing faster than in downtown Toronto. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you find that useful. If you have any question about the market or anything real estate, please let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you. Take care. Have a good one.